So welcome everybody to Wellbeing Wednesday. Welcome from the People's Health Alliance and these wonderful, wonderful ladies this morning that are going to be sharing their wealth of wisdom and personalities and characters with the topic of infection and sepsis. So before we start, I'm just going to go into a little bit outside of the box when we think of infections, thinking about people. People are all around us. People are our world. So probably most of us, if not all of us. And people can infect us, not biologically. So I'm moving away from the biology on this, but people can infect us with their energy, with their behavior. So we can have it in two beautiful ways. Understanding the positive and understanding the negative can also be beautiful, because when we look at people and behavior, we want to understand as much as possible. But the first priority is looking after ourselves and making sure that people infect us in the way that is best for us. Now, this can happen in a manner of ways. I have a client last week whose child has gone back to school. And only in a couple of days, the child's behavior seems to have changed. And that is because they're connecting with a certain type of behavior. And that behavior has rubbed off. People learn from people, and people often become like the people that they're surrounded with. So all of a sudden, this young chap has gone to school, all happy and all excited, and just within a couple of days, because it wasn't even a full week last week, has actually changed behaviour and has become very cheeky and saying phrases that has never been said from him before. So he's copying behaviour. And yet there are others that will come back and they've copied great behavior. We copy from each other. We copy what people do to have confidence. We copy people when they say something in a particular way that is useful. So what I want us to look at is, let's be aware of how people infect us. Now, sometimes people can get under our skin. So people can get into our mindset, wherever we like to call it, and change our thinking, change our emotions. And our emotions, once they're changed, can change our thoughts and all that we do. So we might be happy, and then all of a sudden somebody frustrates us, and that can set us operating completely differently, taking away our peace and joy. So let's think about Wellbeing Wednesday today, setting the intention that today I want to just have peace and joy, no matter what happens, no matter who does what. I want to have peace and joy. And this is I don't know why a horse has come into my mind, but this is my horse and I'm staying on it, the peace and joy horse. And I'm going to gallop through the day and I'm thoroughly going to enjoy it. Now, sometimes because of how we're programmed and because of our experiences, we can just actually see a person who might have rubbed us up in the wrong way, or might just be our opposite type, or even might have what we want, and therefore straight away I see them and I feel jealous. That's a very unpleasant state. Luckily, I don't do that. I just wish people well. It's like, I'd like that as well, which is a very different way of reframing when we see somebody who is kind of like seeming like the whole world is just wonderful and perfect. A lot of people do have that, especially now when so much has been taken away from people in so many ways, can be a little bit jealous. But it's just being jealous is an energy that keeps us away from peace and joy. So what we want to be able to do is to go, that is great, absolutely, whether they deserve whatever they've got or not, it's great, wishing them well, and then beautifully focusing on, what is it that I'd like? What is it that I'd like, in a very positive, pure way? Now, we often hear in Wellbeing Wednesday how we've got this mind and body connection. So we can actually have people that can get under our skin. Have you heard that phrase before? People can get under our skin. And if you imagine when things get under our skin, like a rash, it causes real disturbance, discomfort, and unwanted stuff. We can also have people that can be a pain in the neck. So it's like they're a pain in the neck. And so sometimes we can, those phrases are incredibly wise, because sometimes we can actually have a kind of like attention as a result of somebody that we prefer not to be there, or not to connect with us, or to behave with us in a different way. And so what we want to do, we want to be our best vessel. We want to be our purest self, our happiest self, because then we are our most resilient. And when our mind is clear, we can be our most resourceful, responsive, and use the right words, and stay calm and get the best in a situation. It's so easy for some people to easily be irritated, to easily get angered, to easily say what is not useful in the moment, to be frustrated, and that drives that current situation. So we want to aim, we can, first of all, we look after ourselves. We want to aim to be our calmest, no matter what's going on. And with practice, it's amazing how we can stay calm in situations where other people might be losing their mind. A client of mine has just come back from a big event in New York, and just through all his self-development and his self-work, and recognizing, I want to have peace and joy, I want to have calm, I want to be in my best state, I want to have control over how I react, and I don't want other people to be triggering me into states that are not useful. So in this huge, great, big event, and it was a huge, great, big event, he completely kept control, kept calm, and just did what he knew he did. Very, very key role in this big event. And then afterwards, it wasn't during it, afterwards, he got from the big powwows that he managed himself amazingly like no one they've ever seen. Because normally people in and around a situation where there's high excitement, there's high risk, because it was a performance, everything had to go perfect. Often when people, they're in this state, and that becomes infectious. Have you ever been in a crowd where there's been tension and you can feel the tension? Same if we go to a concert, it's wonderful. You feel the joy, you feel the love, and it's so wonderful. So we want to have the aim to be our best self. And we can do that in many ways. And sometimes it can be an instant decision that we just switch and go stop. So we can, in our mind, go stop, breathe, and in that breath we can actually say to ourselves, what's going on? What is my goal? What do I need to do to achieve my goal? And your unconscious mind will know what that's all about. And because it works so quickly, it works so fast, it's got the power of 40 million bits of data per second. So it's really capable of being able to do that. And the more we get into practice of doing that, then guess what? It just happens. And then at some point, it'll just happen on an autopilot, just like this fellow over in New York. He just did it on his autopilot. It was on his reflections that he realized how he'd operated in amongst all of these people that were all on the tipping point of going into frazzle burnout zone. So any situation, take a breath. And if your eyes are flying all over the place, take a breath and still the eyes, looking slightly upwards. So often when we go into panic, and often if, say, for example, we're faced with somebody that we either don't like, they challenge us in whatever way, our eyes can be searching. For those moments, just have your eyes still and just take a breath. Quick snapshot, what's going on? What is it that's best for me? What is it I want in this situation? What is my behavior? What are the words? What are the words that other people around me, one person or whether it's a group, what is it that they need for me to achieve my goal? How do I present that to them? What words and what style of words? With practice, we can do all of that in a nanosecond, and it allows us to be really resourceful, and it helps us to help get the best from ourselves as well as other people. It enables us to be the most resourceful for them, because if, say, for example, we're trying to help somebody and they might say something to us that might make us go, oh, shock us in some kind of way, we want to get back into to do that. It's unresourceful. We want to get back in the moment to be able to think, right, okay, what's going on? What is it that I want in this situation? I want this person to be feeling happy, hopeful, calm. What is it I need to do? What do they need? How do they need me to tell them? How do they need me to present it to them? All of that with practice can happen in a nanosecond. So practice it and apply it. And so mentioning before about how people get under our skin and how they can be a pain in the neck, some people can actually feel a physical sensation as a result of the people that are infecting us, that are causing us to change in some way. So it could be that somebody and they just make me tense. Now, an awful lot of people, myself included, are not always aware of when we're creating tension. And so the body is on its autopilot system, and it might create tension without permission. And so if you've ever been maybe at a computer and then all of a sudden you move and you think, oh my gosh, that's so tense. What is going on? And so that's what can happen in our body in many, many ways. So we want to understand keeping our mind and body safe. So we might have a physical sensation in and around people. So think about anybody that might create. So it might give you, oh, he gives me shivers. He gives me a shiver up my spine, or pain in the neck, or makes my flesh creep. See, all of these phrases that are linked to how people can have an effect on us. And so we're going to do a quick little bit of EFT. So for any time that happens, what we want to be able to do is have the choice of changing our response to them. What response would you prefer instead? Would you prefer for your flesh to creep, which is uncomfortable, or to have that pain in the neck, or to have that sense that they're there at the back of your neck, or whatever? Is that what you want? Because that's unpleasant. Remember, peace and joy and being resourceful, I believe, is so much nicer. So if that's what we want, peace and joy, then any of these responses, we want to not have them, so that the person does whatever they do, but they have no power over us. So if you imagine, if any of them causes that, they're having a bit of a power. And it's like, I'm making Maureen feel like this. I don't want them to have that power, especially those in my past that have, bullied me, for example, and would enjoy me being upset or angry or so on. I don't want to play that game. I don't want to play their game. And if they want to make me feel like that, I'm not going to let them, because I'm in charge of all of this. And I'm going to do my best to have peace and joy, because that is what's best for me. And so what we're going to do is think about that response. What response do we want? And we can change our program. We can change our programming system, our response system. It can be instant, or it might take a little while, but it is worth it to have that response system so that our peace and joy stays protected and safe. And we can just do this with EFT and lots of other modalities as well. So because it's the morning, I just want you to just gently, we're going to just do EFT on the neck. So we're going to just turn our head to one side, right or left, and just notice how far it goes. Take it to the point where it might be just beginning to stretch, and then bring it back, and just notice whatever that sensation might be. So you can work with either that sensation or the person and how they cause that problem in your body, whatever it is. So you've got choice. Choice is better than no choice. Choice is wonderful. So let's give it a try. So all we do, EFT tapping, emotional freedom techniques, is so wonderful. It's so simple and safe, and it works on the body's acupressure system, and it can bring about a rebalancing, bring us back to the state that is for us to feel relaxed and have a sense of peace and joy, and to be in our best mindset. And so we can whinge about the problem here. So either in that sensation of turning the neck, or thinking about your response to that person that causes you to behave in that way, whatever it might be. So it could be, let's say, for example, I'm going to just think of something and it's frustration. So I'm thinking, okay, where in my body do I get this frustration? I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is work with the mind's metaphor system. So I'm going to put it into a coloured box. So I'm going to give this coloured box a colour. And in my mind, I can formulate an image of that easier than me to find the sensations in my body as a result of this frustration. So I'm going to just simply put it in a box. So you might want to try that as well. So in your mind, think about what it is that you want to put in the box. I'm going to call mine the box of frustration. And mine, I don't know, the imagination is amazing. So whatever your imagination gives you will be perfect. So mine is a red box with an orange lid. And that's just how it is. So all we do is just focus on that. It doesn't take too much concentration. So here we go. Even though I have this red box with an orange lid of frustration, I totally love and approve of me. Even though I have this red box with the orange lid that's full of frustration, I'm okay. Even though I have this box of frustration, I love and approve of me anyway. Then go to the beginning of one eyebrow, gently tapping. This box of frustration. Now the side of the eye, this box of frustration. Under the eye on the cheekbone, this box of frustration. Under the nose, my box of frustration. On the chin, this box of frustration. And then on the collarbone, not on the collarbone, under the collarbone, on the fleshy part, this box of frustration. And under the arm, where the bra strap would be, this box of frustration. And take a deep breath. And the tapping, it's getting a vibration through to a very small acupressure point. So wherever, even if we're slightly off tapping, it'll get there. And then review, how is that feeling? What is that feeling? Now, it probably is still there. And so we'll tap on it still being there. So let's go with that. So even though I still have this box of frustration, and in my mind, there's a little few words that I just said, yes, they've been frustrating me for a long time. I totally accept that I still have this box of frustration and I'm okay. Even though for some reason, I still have this box of frustration and I'm okay. Even though I still have this box of frustration. And it might not be doing me any good, but I still have this box of frustration and I love and approve of me anyway. This box of frustration, I still have it. All the ways I still have this box of frustration. All the ways I create this box of frustration. All the ways I've learned to do frustration. All the ways I'm holding on to this box of frustration. All the ways I do frustration. And all the ways I've learned to do frustration. I wonder what would happen to me if I stopped being frustrated in this way. Take a deep breath. And my mind's just said, oh, if you didn't do frustration, they could get away with murder. And so it's like, oh, so I have to be frustrated so that I can spot their behavior and block their behavior. So there's a part of me that believes I have to be frustrated, but what if I don't? So even though maybe part of me has learned somewhere that I have to be frustrated so that I can recognize and block their bad behavior, and I totally accept that that may be the case, and I'm okay. So even though maybe I have to be frustrated to keep me safe from them, I love and approve of me anyway. So even though maybe I have to be frustrated to keep me safe, I love and approve of me anyway. Maybe I have to be frustrated. Maybe I learned that somewhere. But what if I don't? When I learned it, it might have been true then. But maybe now I'm choosing to do what's best for me. And maybe I'll try and see how peace and joy works instead. Yeah, maybe I can relearn and do peace and joy instead, like a wise elder. Yeah, maybe I'm going to try that and see how it goes. I can always go back to frustration if I want, but I probably won't. And take a deep breath in. And if you were working on your neck, just see where your neck goes now. So I know that my neck has actually gone further than it did before. And I wasn't even focusing on my neck, but I was focusing on the frustration. So there you go. That's a simple way. Frustration, anger, upset, sadness, feeling scared, feeling vulnerable, all of those things pull us away from peace and joy. And so what we want to do is have a choice, and it's a choice to have peace and joy. And hopefully today you will decide and you will have peace and joy for Wellbeing Wednesday. And talking of joy, I'm going to pass straight over so you can have another bundle of joy from our beautiful Robyn. So Robyn, thank you so much, and we look forward to your joy that you always bring us.
Thank you, Maureen, and thank you for that EFT session. It never ceases to amaze me. My neck feels much easier now. It's a bit stiff on the left side. So thank you for that. Good start. Okay, so feeling our feet on the ground, first of all. Now, you can do this seated as well. If you feel like you need to sit down at any time, have a chair next to you for balance if you need to hold on. And if you do have any medical conditions, injuries, pain, discomfort, then please take that into consideration with any movement. It's very gentle, but even so, just bear it in mind. So feeling your feet, connecting to that beautiful earth. Even if we're inside, we can still use our mind to connect. Just getting a sense of feeling that beautiful earth beneath the feet, supporting us, nourishing us. Feeling a sense of safety. And just get a sense of connecting to a beautiful well of wellness that's deep within the earth. So sending your roots down, deep down to the well of wellness, and letting the roots go out far and wide. So important to support ourselves, self-care, and this helps to support our immune system, which in turn helps to heal infections or any other illnesses there might be. So the more we can support ourselves, the more we nourish ourselves, the better we feel, the stronger we are, the more equipped we are to deal with whatever comes our way. So every time we breathe in, imagine you breathing in that wellness from the well of wellness, the nourishment, the supporting, nurturing energy, filling ourselves up. And every time we breathe out, just releasing anything that's not helpful to the body, getting a sense of releasing tension, toxins, any kind of thoughts that aren't helpful, even if it's just for this moment. Connecting to your body, connecting to the earth, breathing in the wellness, breathing out tension, releasing, softening into the body. Filling up your own cup from this well of wellness. Replenishing any lost energy. Just imagine filling yourselves up and flowing over to all the other parts of the body. Your organs, your cells, bones, muscles, your skin, your brain, going all the way up to the brain, nourishing, breathing in that life-giving oxygen, getting the blood flowing up to the brain. And again, just softening into the body and releasing. And then just bring your awareness to the crown of the head and get a sense of opening, like a beautiful lotus blossom. Opening from the crown up to the sun, the moon and the stars. And just allowing a gentle waterfall of light, healing, soothing light from above, like a beautiful chi shower. And just allowing that light to soften through the scalp, easing away any tension there, like a gentle massage. Easing away tension through the forehead, the tiny muscles around the eyes, the facial muscles, the jaw, releasing the jaw. And then down through the centre line of the body, the front of the body, the back, the left and right side. So we're fully immersed in this gentle chi shower, a soothing, healing, restoring, revitalising, whatever your body needs. Just enjoy that feeling. And allowing that light to go down through the feet, releasing any heaviness, toxins, anything that can easily be released without force. Down through to the earth to be transformed into new energy. Back down to the well of wellness. And then just bring your attention back to the feet, back into the body. If your eyes are closed, just open them, rub the hands together. Let's have a shake out. So shaking out through the wrists, because as Maureen said, tension can creep in when we least expect it, not taking notice, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't feel good, I feel stiff, I feel off. So let's, when we become more aware of what and when it's creeping in, when does it creep in? What are you doing? Are we being mindful? That word that sounds so easy, but it's not. It's a practice like everything else, and we do get distracted. There's so many distractions that take us away from ourselves, our core, our centre, our body, our mind. And then elbows, just flushing through. Again, flushing away anything that's not helpful, nice and gently. And then let's just do a little shimmy through the shoulders, down through the arms, and then down through the spine, opening the spine laterally, down to the sacrum. Happy dog, wagging its tail. You can do it slowly as well if that feels better. Just get that opening through the sacrum, through that lumbar region of the spine, and all the way up to the top of the spine, and the neck as well. If it's comfortable, just loosen up the neck, head going side to side. And then down through the body. You can hold on if you want to for this. Just shake one leg shake it out like you're shaking water off, you're shaking away tension, anything, like I mentioned, that's not helpful to the body. And then opening up through the knee, just let your knee move back and forth, or should I say the lower leg move back and forth, opening up through the knee. Shake out through the hip if that's comfortable for you, shaking the sacroiliac joint there, opening up there, opening through the hip. If you do have any hip problems, please be mindful of that when you're doing this. And then just plant your foot down. And just notice how that feels on that side when you've just done the shake out through the leg. Might feel like it's a bit longer than the other one. And then let's go to the other side. Shake it out. Get them channels working more effectively, get the blood flowing, fluids, the energy. And then through the leg, the lower leg. Open up that knee. Shake out through the hip and the sacrum. And then plant your foot down. So that's just a short version of the shake out. You can do it longer, as long as you feel necessary. And then just notice how you feel. See if you can feel any difference or not, as the case may be. And then rubbing the hands together, let's activate some Qi. Get the blood flowing to the hands. Enhances the practice. And then just hold your ball of Qi, your energy. And we're going to do a stretch, connecting heaven and earth. So we're going to turn our ball around. So one hand is on top of the other. So just underneath the ribs and beneath the navel. And then with one hand, we're going to stretch up to the sky. The other hand goes down to the earth. If you can, just bend at the wrist so your palm is facing towards the sky, or just do what you can. We're keeping a little bend in the elbow. Drop the shoulder blade down at the back. So we're not lifting like that because that'll bring tension in. Just a gentle lift up and pushing down, connecting heaven and earth. And then bring the hands down. Bring the opposite hand on top from where you first started with the ball. And then with the opposite hand going up and the other one going down. So whichever hand you started with, we're doing the opposite one to push up and push down. And if you want, you can do just a little stretch through the ribs. And this helps to activate the spleen and stomach, which is associated with this time of year, this season, late summer, as we're transitioning into autumn. So looking after your stomach and your spleen, what you're digesting, what you're ingesting. Bring that back, turn it around again. And then pushing up, pushing down. Breathe in, pushing up, pushing down if you want to stretch. Breathe out, bringing the opposite hand on top. Breathe in, pushing up, pushing down. Gentle stretch, opening through the ribs. Breathe out, and then we're going to turn the ball around again. And then this time, we're just going to bring the left hand up, just in front, through the centre line of your body. And it's like you're looking in between the thumb and the index finger. The opposite hand is just below the navel. And we're just going to gently turn from the waist. Make sure your shoulders down, your shoulder blades going down at the back. And we're just going to turn from the waist. So I'll turn around. So I've got the left hand up. So you turn to the left. Then you bring that left arm down. The right arm comes up. And you turn to the right. So again, this is good to strengthen the stomach, the spleen, and the kidneys. So you'll know which way to turn because you're following the hand and the arm that's on top. This is called cloud hands or waving hands like clouds. This is a variation of it that's in Tai Chi, Qigong, Shibashi. Ideally, we are just turning from the waist, but it all depends on your stance and how low you can get. It's called the horse stance, but just do what you can. If your knees are problematic, then you don't need to go too low. And we're just playing with these beautiful clouds. Gazing in between the hand, the index finger and the thumb. This is good for the eyes as well. The eyes are associated to the liver, so it helps to cleanse the eyes. Cleansing the eyes, cleansing the liver. Letting that gaze go out. Nice and gently, soft gaze. Breathe in to one side. Change hands, breathe out to the opposite side. We'll just do one more. And then just bring your hands back to the sides of the body. We'll finish off with one, drawing down the heavens. So breathe in, rising. Let's connect with the sun, the moon and the stars again, gathering that light, that energy, and bringing it down as you breathe out, centering, aligning, connecting. Connect to your heart, bring your feet together, and just acknowledge yourselves today and every day, as often as you can. Take note of what we're eating, what we're doing. Are we doing enough movement? Are we having enough rest? Rest is also important. So thank you for joining and thank you for watching if you're watching later. And give yourselves a bow. Thank you, everybody.
That was wonderful. I've never shaken my legs out like that. What an amazing experience. Something, again, so simple, but it just made my legs feel so strong and solid on the floor. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Robyn. And now we're moving over to the beautiful June and her wonderful wisdom. Good morning, June.
Good morning. Swiftly, because I can't wait to hear what Helen's words of wisdom are next. So I'm just going to go straight into my thing about infections because we're on that sort of a theme. And I just wanted to, because I think we did talk a little bit about this last week, but I just wanted to mention a particular concern that people might have about things like styes. And it's interesting that Robyn mentioned eyes because, you know, there's been a bit of wind and a bit of dust in the air and such like irritating one's eyes. So I think it's good to look after those beautiful organs that we have. So what I wanted to just mention also is that the weather has changed and there will be people very vulnerable around their neck areas and around their backs because we've been all open poured, letting out the heat that has come in over the last few weeks. So now all of a sudden there's cold winds and you can imagine it's going, oh, look, body, let me go in there. It's nice and cozy in there. So we do get, and I got a little bit of a chill the other day. Oh yes, Robyn, wrap up. Yes, scarves and shawls and things like that. Bring them out now because you could be a bit vulnerable because you've been all open to that lovely warm weather. And also if of course you do get a little bit of a chill, which I did the other day, magnesium baths. Now I need to say that if you haven't got a bath, because people haven't sometimes these days, foot baths. Get a nice big washing up bowl, or if you've got a fancy foot bath, put it in there and turn it on and let it go. Blah, blah, blah. and that will really help because your feet will absorb all the magnesium that you need from there. Also garlic and ginger tea. And I did myself some cupping because I have handy cups at home. Not everybody's got that facility. And then I also had some acupuncture yesterday morning, and he really helped rebalance me because I think it's really important at this turn of the season to get some attention from somebody to help you go through into the next phase, to the colder weather, and get ready for closing down your pores and keeping the wind cold out. In Chinese medicine, we don't talk about germs, we talk about pathogens in terms of damp and cold and wind and heat, and they can get in and cause disruption and blockage of the energy flow. So I was speaking of frustration, I was slightly offended last week by me offering some help to somebody. How to resist that urge? Honestly, it's just pointless, really. Sometimes people don't want your help. She said she had a digestive ailment, and I said, "Oh well, you know where I am if I can help you." She said, "Do acupuncture?" I said, "Yes." But acupuncture is for and I went, and it's also good for internal conditions too. And I nearly got into an argument, and I just went, okay, stop, just stop. Her worldview was that acupuncture is good for structural things, and that was it. She was, really fixed in her mind, and there was no point in trying to explain that it could do other things because, so you got to know when to quit. So let's have a look at Dr. Berg, one of my favorite YouTube video guys. He's got lots and lots of useful videos about nutrition. He's a chiropractor who does a lot about nutrition and well-being. So here's an example of a sty. Now, a lot of people think sties are where germs get in there and well, actually they're caused by blocked sebaceous glands. And he's there. I'm just going to get his voice out of there. You see there you've got the gland, and sometimes they get blocked and they don't drain, and the hair follicle gets irritated and red. And so what he's suggesting is nutritional kind of things, but you can also soak them with salty water to draw out the heat. Salt works like this because it's cooling, and it's, have warm water with salt dissolved in it. And there's much discussion about the best kind of salt these days. Apparently Celtic sea salt is the best at the moment until that changes and we go on to something else. But if you only have, any kind of salt, really, to be honest, but I veer away from regular table salt because it's got additives in it. Like it's got chalk in it to keep it running. I think it's chalk, I can't remember. To keep it running smoothly and things. So, they add iodine to regular rock salt to try and mimic sea salt because sea salt is full of iodine. Himalayan salt is of a limited source because there's only a certain amount of it left, so we can't keep using that forever. But sea salt and salt from seaweed, apparently Celtic salt is from seaweed. So that's kind of interesting. And it's been cleansed, obviously, because, our coastline, especially in Yorkshire, not that great for stuff being effluent. That's all I'll say. So we need to do clearing. So there you can treat it with all sorts of drugs and chemicals. And then you've got this staph aurea kind of thing that can develop there. Now, my suggestion is that it's not coming from outside, it's coming from inside. And so we've got various different pictures. These are fantastic. I love his diagrams. So there you've got this gland that get blocked. And what he's suggesting that you do with it, oh, there's somebody with some more spots. So vitamin A is very good. So foods with vitamin A, he's recommending first, rather than, and things with retinoids, particularly retinoids, rather than just going for supplements, going for the foods, the original foods. I'm just working my way through because he's got the blocked glands, beautiful pictures. There we go, vitamin A, retinol, and oh, more gorgeous pictures. Vitamin A deficiency, quite common, apparently. And it controls normal growth and differentiation of the skin cells, of the inner and outer layer of the skin. So that's fascinating. This is not my area of expertise. I'm just saying. Iron and zinc also very important to look after the skin, and also the eyes. They help with the eyes inside as well as around the skin around them. So yeah, so people with diabetes might have more chance of developing styes and things like that. So again, looking after your diet and making sure you're following less sugar, because sugar is heating and it feeds these kind of hot, inflamed spaces in the body. And I think that's where I'll stop. Thank you very much.
June, what food can you get retinol in?
Oh, carrots was the obvious one. Yeah. It's in egg yolk, I think, as well.
Yeah.
He did talk about a few more, but if you want to go and see Dr. Berg's videos, he's quite prolific on YouTube. So, you can go and watch the whole thing. It's about 11 minutes long. He has some longer ones and shorter ones, and he's got some older ones on different kinds of, things. Yeah.
June.
Yes.
So years ago, they used to say to rub a wedding ring on a sty.
Gold.
Is there? I presume it's the gold. I don't know nothing. Why? It probably worked. Otherwise, people wouldn't have said it. Have you any?
Yeah, I think it's because of the gold, and I don't know quite why he didn't mention that. He didn't veer off into old wives' tales, but yeah, I mean, old wives knew a thing or two, right? They didn't say these things for nothing. And yeah, like the salt, it kind of changes the balance of the skin in some way. Gold is very nourishing. There's someone just coming in. Yes, there we are.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Thank you so much, June, because it's hard to be human and to remember to do everything. So even just to connect with, this week was like, the hottest, and now we're straight into autumn and we're on that autopilot without reminding that, yeah, we need to keep our necks warm. And also that sunshine has kind of like, it's heading on its holidays, and we've got to up our vitamin D and take care of ourselves. It's such a valuable reminder. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, on the subject of vitamin D, I have been taking vitamin D for a number of years, and then I recently discovered that you need to have K2 with it. So there are forms that you can get with vitamin D3 and K2 together. My favorite one is a spray, but you can get other ones. Or you can have the K2 separately. You can do that too.
And do you know what foods have K2 in it?
No.
And that's going to be my homework. I'm going to go and look.
I think that's what we need to figure out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need supplementation with it, but I'm not sure.
Sure.
We certainly don't need injections of it. Let's just put it out there.
Yeah. I'm going to go and check my vitamin D bottles to see if there's any K2 in it. If not, I'm going to research it. So thank you for keeping us so well.
Yes. Do your own research, guys. This is very important. Yes.
Brilliant. And now over to the beautiful Helen. Good morning, Helen. Lovely for you to join us today.
Morning. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Maureen, Robyn, and June. for what you've done this morning. You've promptly delighted to hear Maureen talking about how people infect us, and not with, you know, their energy, I suppose, rather than we're getting infected, as the government would have us believe, that we're being infected by each other with little particles running around. But it is that, just to kind of, one of the things that came to mind as Maureen was talking about how we can become infected by people's energy and things like that, was also to just be mindful of what I call energy vampires, those that actually suck our energy, that take our energy. You can be with people and you come away and you think, why am I exhausted? And they've literally, the best example I can give on that is when you go into a hospital, because you're going into a place where people are sick, and unconsciously you've got energy and they need energy in order to survive. So you usually come out of a hospital quite drained, because you've gone in there to give, even if you aren't aware that that's your conscious intention. You have gone in to give because you've gone in to see somebody. So, and there's not just that person that you've gone to see, there's lots of people. So just to be aware of, in terms of how your energy may be taken from you without your conscious knowledge, and just, you know, kind of put in, and because we're talking about infections, we need to be protected from infections. So you can protect your energy as well. And there are a multitude of ways of doing that. Some people use light, some people use smoke, some people use, I can't even think, but, you know, there are lots of ways to protect your energy, and prayer, intention, meditation, all of those things, building up your filters. Someone once told me to put a mirror around myself because I was receiving this stuff, and I was like, I don't want to bounce back that. So when I think about protection and protection of my energy, it's more of a filter, that anything that comes through comes through and is I get what I need from that, and drain from me. So what only goes out is what I can spare, for want of a better expression. So that was something. And when she was talking about under the skin, I remember once working in a retirement nursing home, and I broke out. I literally broke out because it got under my skin. I had biopsies and everything, because it was like, what's going on? And it was me not honouring myself and not working there, so I had to leave there. So just those things really are, that's my own personal experience of that. Robyn brought attention to mindfulness, to be mindful, and so in terms of infection, being mindful of that relationship that you have with your body. You know, I'm all about your relationship with different aspects of self. So your relationship with your body, and being mindful of that. And when you develop a mindful relationship with your body, with everything, but with your body, you know, you start to see the sniffles, like, I've got a bit of a sniffly thing going on, so I'm aware that I need to address that. Fevers, these are ways of your body actually doing what your body needs to do. So rather than going into a fever, I've got sweats, okay, have a different kind of relationship with that, and embrace that, and thank the body. My latest thing, definitely since the beginning of this year, is to honour my body, in terms of my body is doing things. I'm very aware that my body is doing things. I don't necessarily like them, but it's doing stuff. But I am getting into a mindset and a way of being that is embracing that, thanking my body for what it is doing, because every single cell in your body is working for you. Everything about your mind is working for you. There's nothing about your body that wants to hurt you. There's nothing about your mind that wants to hurt you. This is all methods of communication that your body, your mind, your spirit, everything is engaging with. And my own experience from a very, would go, Helen, 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 and eventually go, Helen, and it'd be like, oh, and that usually was when I became ill, or something happened that was big because I hadn't been listening. I hadn't yet developed a proper relationship. I hadn't yet learned to listen to my body, to listen to my mind in a way that was far more harmonious, or it to be. So just to be mindful and bringing in that mindful awareness of you and your body will really help. June spoke about foot baths, and I love a good foot. I had a pedicure. I'm almost, in fact, I'm going to. You have seen my feet before, but look at my new toesies. Well, you can't see them properly anyway. But I got my toes done. I got a pedicure yesterday, so I just love having the whole idea of my feet and people messing with it. I love reflexology. I love everything about foot baths. And often you will see me at the computer, but when you look down, my feet are in a washing up bowl filled with mint and lemon balms and salts, because it's just so wonderful. And then to dry them and oil them and caress them and have that relationship with your feet and just be so grateful to your feet. In terms of infection, Mama Nature right now is literally throwing her remedies at you. The rose hips, I've been blessed, and I will see it as a blessing, even though it kind of was like, ooh, with having the afternoon, not doing what I initially planned. So I know I'm going to collect rose hips. Rose hips are everywhere, lovely bright red rose hips along the hedgerows. If you're in a city, try to find the places that they're not spraying. Go to your country parks probably rather than your parks, because they spray a lot. If you can get out into the countryside and get down some offbeat country lanes, dog roses, wild roses, and there are lots. I went down the road the other day. We were actually getting out on our bike, and there's a plethora of rose hips that I am going to get. I've already made some this year, but rose hip syrup. I'm not, I'm that person that can't tell you what they're full of. I mean, I read about them, and then it just gets logged into the brain, and there's a bit of I don't know what goes on between where they're filed and where they come out, but this doesn't happen. But go and check out all the benefits of rose hips, and this is where I really encourage people to go and do their research. But there's lots of rose hips. I've just given my daughter a bottle of rose hip syrup that I made with honey, not sugar. So be aware that you can use and get local honey. If you can go and find your local honey, you're already fighting infections. Remember to use a wooden spoon or a wooden thing. I actually bought some lovely little wood for your honey, because the metal actually interacts with the honey in a different way. So make rose hip syrups. Rose hip syrup. Elderberries. The elderberries are out, and they're filled. And obviously, I think it's the signature of signature of doctrines, or doctrine of signatures, which is what where the plant, so walnuts are good for the brain. Elderberries are definitely for your respiratory system. Look at them. Look at how they are. They look like the what was those things called for the anyway, whatever it's called in the lungs, they look like them. And I made an elderberry jelly. I'm really pleased with that, because I didn't make a jam, I made a jelly and elderberry syrup. You can make elderberry wine if that floats your boat. I've been working on trying, because the whole idea of boiling this stuff kind of doesn't connect with me. But so I made some, what did I make? Blackberry syrup, not heating it, but using honey. And obviously I'm mentioning blackberries, because the blackberries are absolutely amazing. They're really, really good for you. So go and check out Mama Nature, just gives this stuff to you. And if you are going foraging for elderberries, what else have I got? I've got blackberries, elderberries, rose hips, sloes. Now, sloes, obviously, you're making some sloe gin, and you can make that for gifts for Christmas. From now, you can start to look at doing that and make little bottles of sloe gin to give to people for Christmas. But otherwise, most of the berries are sweet and delicious. They're filled with things for you. The earth, absolutely. I can't emphasize this enough. It gives us what we need when we need it. And I'm going to talk about autumn and the change of season, because what the gift the trees give us is the power and the beauty of just letting go, just allowing. I've never seen a tree scramble to pick up a leaf. I've never seen it do it. I've never seen the tree kind of look as if it's distressed or even feel, because obviously they move slower than me, but I've never felt a tree get distressed about letting go, allowing, honoring the cycles. Look at your life. Your life is filled with cycles. You know, we've got the maiden, the mother, the crone cycles, life, death, cycles, autumn, winter, summer, spring. I've got them in the wrong order, but you get me. It's the cycles. Allow yourself to let stuff go. That will really help with infections. If you stop holding, because your body holds the score, your body holds what's going on, and if you can allow your body to let go, the shaking that Robyn got us to do, letting that shake, never underestimate the power of a good shake. Allow yourself to let things go. Body, when you're in that fever, when you're doing those, embrace that. That's your body letting go and doing what it needs to do to make you well again. We mentioned we were going to look at sepsis, and I looked at sepsis, and I've heard of it. I know that there's a lot of people that are actually, only yesterday someone got in touch with me to say that there's lots of death and the reason is sepsis. So I thought, oh, sepsis has come up quite a bit here, so I'll go and have a look at it. And I wasn't surprised to find out that sepsis is just a term that they give to things that there's a lot of symptoms and everything else. They don't really know what it is. You know, it's one of those, again, that they've given a title to because they ain't got a clue. But you can look at sepsis and see what that is. So I'm going to absolutely, in terms of infection, on a physical level, salt, lemon, ginger. Oh, sorry, I just need to turn this off. That's a daughter. Lemon and ginger. Now, there are some people that have said to me that shouldn't eat garlic. It's not good for you. I've actually had people tell me that garlic's not good for me. That doesn't resonate with me personally. Or ginger, and that doesn't resonate. And recently I've heard that we shouldn't be eating vegetables, and I'm just at a point now that I'm like, you know what? And I think that this for me is absolutely crucial in how I move forward in my life. There's, no matter what you are told, you can find scientific evidence to back it up. That's the truth. That you can find evidence to back up whatever you are told. That's what I believe right now. That's what life shows me right now. So therefore, it is just so incredibly important for you to know you, for you to be able to sit with you and literally, you've got I know it's a nail file, but anyway, say it's a garlic and say it's a jelly bean, you know, ask your body which one, make a decision, which one's good for me, the jelly bean or the garlic, you know, and learn to know your answers. I sometimes use pendulums, which can be influenced, but anyway, get to know you, ask yourself, listen to your body. Does your body react well to whatever or not? Does your body respond well or does it not respond well? Does your body feel empowered and healthy when you eat garlic? I've been told to take garlic to help with my blood pressure. I'm going to do that. I love garlic. Garlic has been a staple in my life. Garlic, ginger, lemon, honey. For me, they are the biggest antiseptics for infection that I can find. Salt water, salt even in cleansing the root in your wounds, ways of cleansing the self, keeping your body optimal in the first place. The best form of defense is prevention. Prevent it, and Mama Nature's giving you the tools to prevent it. She's doing this right now. The amount of herb Robert that I've seen starting to grow around the place as well in terms of the radiation and all of that other shite, she's really responding. She responds to what we need. You all know I go out and pee in my garden so that my garden knows what I need and what's going on with me. So if you can do that, do that. Somebody says, oh, I live in this and I've got that. And I says, you put on a frock or a dress or a nightie, and you just stand with your nightie, you open your legs and you let it drop. Nobody's going to know that you're peeing in your garden, and your garden will respond to you. After a while, your garden will start to give you what you need. Please, 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 absolutely be careful about what you're putting into your body from the garden. Don't just, because it started to grow, don't just have it. Identify it properly. Break your body into it, like get to know it, see what it does for you. So those are the sort of things that I wanted to say about infection. And be infectious yourself, and loads of love. Spread love everywhere. Infect the world with love and joy and happiness. And also, I'm just sort of learning about a different modality, and the actual can cure absolutely anything and everything, is love and forgiveness. So I was like, oh, that sounds up my street. That's really kind of what I'm about. And I think, and because it's tying in, there's a lot of things that are challenging me within it, but hey, that's, you know, that's what learning's about. Is that, you know, that look, for me, it ties into the fact that I'm learning to love my body and love that it is doing exactly what it needs to do for me. So that's the end of my twitterings today. I'm not sure whether June built me up with the wisdom. I'm hoping that somebody found something somewhere in all of that. But in terms of infection, you be the infectious love bubble. You be the infectious spirit. You be the infectious bringer of joy and wonder and laughter, and honor when you don't feel like that. Absolutely. Honor when you don't feel like being like that. Honor that. And that's what also helps. Once you start that mindful journey in your life to honor what's actually being said to you by your body, by your mind, by whatever, honor that. Go with that. If you're sad, you're sad. If you're down in the dumps and the snot's falling out and everything else, think of yourself as the tree. I'm releasing, I'm allowing it to go. You know, take time. And remember that autumn is a 3-month season. So sometimes it's not that fast. Things don't have to, we're living in this fast world, but sometimes it might take a little bit of time to allow your body to let these things pass through. It might take a little bit of time for you to just get back to who you want to be, but be confident. And your mindset absolutely is of utmost importance. And remember, we have 3 brains. We have our head, we have our heart, we have our gut. And remember that your whole entire being, every single aspect of your being and the planet, I would say, is working in your favor. So much love on that.
Great, thank you, Helen. And also, thank you so much. Now, I don't know if you out there watching, like me, like to have a picture. So whilst you were talking, Helen, I just pulled together some pictures of rose hip. Yeah, I believe that's rose hip. I don't know, because I just got
that's you've got the rose flower. The hip is the thing in the back. Can you see
the little red blot there?
Looks like
that's what they look like now.
That one actually looks so. The rose hip, yeah, there's the rose hips. Be careful, because obviously they've got you are going to a rose, and roses are thorny, but those are rose hips. Yeah, absolutely. And what you do when you make rose hip syrup, take off all the stalks and the other, you know, whatever bits you want to. I'm getting less pedantic about that, to be fair. Put so boil the cover your rose hips with about 1 centimetre of water, whatever size pot you using, wherever they are. Boil them for about 15 minutes. But when you get a piece of, I have some linen tea towels that I use rather than muslin. Make sure that you drain them. At least tips are actually what they use for itching powder. It's so they can be an irritant. Hear me? Did you hear me?
Yeah,
I never know.
It was going in and out. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So just make sure that you actually strain them at least twice, if not 3 times, through your cloth, because of that irritant. As I said, I used local raw organic honey to sweeten rather than sugar, because I never quite understand, you know, even though I do use white sugar, only in my jams and jellies and syrups for some reason. But use honey where possible, local honey, because the benefits of local honey for you locally, because it's local, are phenomenal. They far outweigh any, forget buying Manuka honey from New Zealand if you're in the UK or Ireland. Get your local honey from your local bee provider. And when you go to your bee person, your beekeeper, make sure that they're not feeding their bees sugar water, because a lot of them, in order to protect them, so just not protect them for production. Just I said to my bee man, I said, oh, do you feed them sugar? What? He went, what? And just his whole kind of thing was like, he couldn't even believe it. There's the beautiful elderberries, and look at the elder. It gives us flowers in spring and berries in autumn, and both are so incredibly filled with goodness for us. Can you see how they look like lung? You know, you've got the tentacles coming up. I think June could let me know that they're called bronchial. Bronchial.
I think so.
Sorry. Yeah, really, really good. Fabulous images as well. Bye, Shell.
Yeah, you know what?
So go out
berries.
and have a look at those berries. I decided, yeah, hawthorn as well. And hawthorn is the king, like it's the berry, the plant actually, because you can use the leaf, the flower, and the berry. And hawthorn's really good for the blood pressure, it's all about, it can lower your blood pressure, and it can bring your blood pressure back up if it's too low, in harmony. Hawthorns have little pips in. They're the same as rose hips, aren't they? They're from the apple family. Rose hips and hawthorns are from the apple.
Maybe one week we need to do a whole week on them, because we could go on a whole week.
Yeah, I'll stop.
Yeah,
and I'm not even. I am so not an expert on this stuff.
Tip of the iceberg, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everything
Absolutely.
is nature.
You know, I'm hoping that Claire Otwell is going to join us, but she can't do early mornings. So I'm hoping that when Carrie gets back, she's going to get her a video so she can join in with a pre-prepared video, because she's so wise about stuff. She's an aromatherapist, and she makes things to sell, and she actually knows about the seasons and the moons and the ancient moons, you know, and all the meaning of the pagan connections to the moons. So, yeah,
look forward to that.
Good.
So thank you everybody for contributing. Thank you everybody for joining us this morning and for watching online. Hope you have the most wonderful Wellbeing Wednesday from the People's Health Alliance, and take care of yourself till we see you again.